Hey guys, Sunny here. We are in the December Duelist Cup season and I'm using SPYRALs happily and Labrynth and also the Runicks cards just came out in Master Duel. As a player who doesn't play the TCG or OCG, I am not familiar with what these cards does, and I just realized that they are kind of annoying, especially Runicks. So I can't use my SPYRAL Kali Yuga deck that Two Tones are introduced in his video. So I decided I need to find some solutions into beating Runicks because I feel that most people may play it in the Duelist Cup. After searching around the Master Duel subreddit, I came across two interesting cards in Eradicator Epidemic Virus and Chaos Hunter. But this deck needs some changing. So here is the rundown of the changes I made into the deck. So firstly, we are running the Danger Engine. I tried to make the deck more consistent, so I actually reduced one copy of Nessie. So there's two Nessies, two Tsuchinokos, two Jackalopes, one Mothman, but I've added in Bigfoot for only one reason. It's a dark attribute with more than 2500 attack. So that's one thing that I've changed. Second thing, I've removed my max Cs because I want to increase the consistency of the deck. Because when you're facing against the two new decks, Labrynth and Runicks, they are not special summon reliant, so there's no max C is kind of a dead draw that only allows you to go card neutral against a Labrynth, but you don't really, or against a Runicks when they get their extra deck monster, which is rarely sometimes. So remove Maxi, Jet Synchron stays. I re-added Destrudo because Destrudo could allow me to go into my synchros, and I'll show you the extra deck much later on. Chaos Hunter is an interesting addition because it allows me to discard the card. So if I'm holding a bunch of mission rescues, I could discard them and special summon out during my opponent's turn. And the key thing is that my opponent can't banish cards, so the Runicks cards just has its primary effect of negation or destruction, but no banishment of cards from my deck, so they can't mill. And if this card is out, then I will just have to protect this card and we're good to go against a Runicks player. Of course, the situations where this may come up is a bit niche, and I've yet to see success with the Chaos Hunter at the moment, but I still put it in because it's 2500, it's Dark Attribute, and these two criteria are enough for Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and because it's Dark Attribute, Small World is a thing that I can use to search it out or use it as a Small World bridge or whatnot, Small World stuff. It suits well with all the dark cards, the Dark Attribute cards I'm having. Okay. Now onto the extra deck. Since I'm not running the Kali Yuga cards, so I removed there are 3 cards removed from the extra deck, but I also removed a few more cards and added a few more in. So let's go into it. So Brawler Savage and Baron the Fleur, the two boss monsters from the Synchro era, the Synchro side. In this deck, you will need to prioritize getting Brawler Savage for the sole reason of it being a dark attribute more than anything else. Baron the Fleur, not so much, but against certain decks that are not named Runicks, you may want to play Baron the Fleur. It's fine. I added IP Masquerader, Curious Stays, added Celine because I wanted in case of an event where I get enough spells in my graveyard, I can go into Celine combos. So of course, Curious is important to dump Eradicator Epidemic Virus into the graveyard, and then Griffin is there to put it back. Then I have certain things like IP to Underworld Goddess. Of course, against certain decks, this may come in handy. So, unfortunately, I am very unlucky in going first. So, I've always failed the toin cost. I always get tails, go second. But there is a duel that I saved where I went first and I pulled the Eradicator Epidemic Virus onto a Runicks player. So let's just jump into this replay of this deck. Now, I have to preface this that I am still testing this deck out. This is by no means a final version of the deck. And secondly, I didn't have anyone to play to test this deck out with. So what you're seeing here is a combo that I'm trying to do on the spot in the Duelist Cup, and I do fumble a pawn a bit, but everything went well in the process. So there are ways to optimize the combo. I'll admit that. But this is just to give an idea on what this deck does. So again, this deck needs refining and my combo needs refinement, but these things are things that requires practice, and sometimes I just want to practice against a real opponent, a real random player, just because sometimes the stress of fighting against an actual opponent where there's high stakes could maybe make me bring out some big brain plays that I couldn't think of in a calm situation, perhaps. But anyways, let's look at my opening hand. I have a hard garnet in the sleeper, and master plan is soft garnet because if I can dump her into the graveyard, that would be great. But I do have small woe, so of course I'll be using the small woe. And I have quick fix, which is great, and call buy for any possible hand traps in case they were not running Runick. So of course I open with small woe to get master plan, and jack up to the graveyard to get my magician soul. So magician soul, send master plan to the graveyard, sleep, quick fix, get big red. You know the drill. This is the typical spiral opening that you want to get. Again, so with the effect of magician soul, I was able to get Destrudo, which is great, and a copy of Mission Rescue, which is also great. So now, I don't know why I made this careless mistake here, where when I got my drones and I special summoned out, I saw my opponent is running Runicks, so I know that he has 3 spells. But I caught monster because I'm an idiot. But it's fine because that did not set me back a lot. I was still able to do my combo in the end. That was my first mistake. Do not do that, okay? Because I had the Mission Rescue in my graveyard, I could still extend my combos. So I go into Celine because I had 3 spells total. So with Celine, I get my master plan. So now I'm going to go into Curious because I think getting into Curious is more important here than going to Appaloosa. I mean, you shouldn't be using Appaloosa in this deck, but in case that extra deck monster comes up. So with Curious, we are getting the Eradicator Epidemic Virus into the graveyard. Now this is where I made my second mistake. I pointed into quick fix with I pointed at the quick fix with the Strudo to special summon out as a 6-star tuner. I was thinking I can create the Baron the Flood as an Omni Gate, but no, that's actually a mistake. What you should be doing is you should be going into Borrowed Savage above everything else, especially against a Runic player. And I realized that too late. Fortunately for me, everything turned out well in the end, as you can see later. I used the effect of I am going to get my quick fix. Sorry, I'm going to get the Griffin. So I discard my quick fix and set the Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and fortunately I drew 1 for 1. That was the this is just me being lucky, alright? So I have no shame. I made 2 mistakes, 2 crucial mistakes. So don't do what I did. So I explained to you these careless mistakes I made. Okay, so now I've jet synchroned out, which means I can go into my Borrowed Savage. So I banish the Mission Rescue, get the Master Plan, then Master Plan goes into Borrowed Savage. So, and then I have Barricade Blocker protecting my face-ups and Eradicated Epidemic Virus. Sleeper is not out because my last resource in the graveyard, but it's fine because I don't think I need Sleeper in this situation. As long as I'm able to pull this trap card off. So, again, one more thing that's very important, your bot was where you put your monsters, because if your Nightmare Griffin is not next to your Borrowed Savage, if your Borrowed Savage is not next to your Nightmare Griffin, then it is not able to activate its effect. And why I chose Borrowed Savage as the most important Dark Attribute monster to use in this combo is because of this one card called Runic Flashfire, which is able to target a special summon monster and destroy it. This is the thing that screws with the Kali Yuga plan because it's able to destroy the rank up magic's target. So, but with Borderlord Savage, I could negate any possible, I have an Omni Negate, I could negate anything, any possible destruction on my Borderlord Savage. And then later on, when I pull my Eradicator Epidemic Virus, I could tribute this off and we are good to go. So it tries to banish my top deck and I just Omni Negate. I shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. I just do this and now I activate the Eradicator Epidemic Virus and his whole hand just got destroyed with only Runic Destruction that he gotten, and he tries to use it, but Barricade will occur, ladies and gentlemen, because no one knows that Barricade Blocker has a secondary effect of protecting face-up spells, but it has come up time and time again where its secondary effect is really handy, and because he couldn't destroy my face-up spell, he can't banish the top 2 cards on my deck. So surrendered. So this is a replay of Eradicator Epidemic Virus being pulled off in a SPYRAL deck. So let's go back into the deck profile for some conclusion. Alright, so in conclusion, this deck could take some refinement, but I see this deck being useful because this card, it calls spells or traps. So if you're against a Labrynth player, going first, you could call traps and they will destroy all their traps as well. So that's an instant scoop. Of course, with SPYRALs, knowing your opponent's cards are really the most important factor at play here. So again, you have to, if you have the opportunity to go first, you have to see what cards they're playing and set up your end board accordingly. But this is just the current version of the deck that I'm running that is more suited to play against Runicks. But I do think that this deck has potential against Branded Despair as well, with this virus destroying all their spells. Yeah. So that's the deck. Again, if you want to try this out, here's the deck list for you. If you want to refine it, go ahead. I have no problems because I'm just testing this for the time being. So catch you guys next time.